To keep you guys too far away from the drinks, I'll try to keep this pretty and get you guys in the other room. First things first, I want to give a big shout to Dumbo Arts Festival and Digital Dumbo, our partners down here in Dumbo, making Dumbo better. To the Andrews and I guess I'll sort of briefly say that we're here to talk about access, collaboration, and how those two things mean so much to us potentially in terms of how we create. And I don't know how many people here consider themselves to be creators or creative. I hope it's most of you. So let's dive in. Who am I? I'm that guy, standing in front of the Harley Fat Boy Softail that I don't own, that we rented in San Diego. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Snapgrids, snapgrids.com. You can follow us, comment, lambast us, blow our spots up at Snapgrids, at Ron J. Dub. Typically when we talk, the hashtags around which we communicate are own less, do more, and the access economy, short to access ec. So feel free to go crazy. I guess I want to start here. Let's get stoned. Not exactly what you think. Maybe less exciting than you might hope. I think as we talk about this access thing, what we call the access economy, which we define pretty directly as valuing access to experiences over ownership of stuff, there's this great story that comes to mind that I think frames this discussion. The story is called The Tale of Stone Soup, ergo my reference to getting stoned. Have any of you guys heard this story before? Show of hands, quick show of hands. A lot of you guys. Okay, well for the other half that did not have bedtime stories read to them as a child, I'm going to quickly run through this. The story of Stone Soup starts with 3 soldiers coming to a village. And in the course of walking through this war-torn village, they're going house to house, door to door, begging for food. And as you might expect, these folks don't trust them, they don't know them, they don't give them anything. And they hatch a plan as they come to the last door in the village. And they go up to the door and they say to the guy inside, hey, we want to make this delicious stone soup. Do you have a cauldron? And the guy says, I've never heard of stone soup. I don't believe you, but sure, I'm interested to see what you can do. And this guy gives them the cauldron. They take these 3 stones out of their pockets. They place them in the cauldron. They place some snow there. They start cooking. And as the steam wafts up off the cauldron, people get interested and intrigued. And they come out of their houses and they gather. And these guys play it up. Oh my God, this is the best stone soup ever. But you know what would make it better? Some carrots. And the little old lady shuffles up and she says, well, I have some carrots. I'd like to taste that stone soup when you're done. And they say, man, this is good, but it'd be better if we had some parsley. And I think you guys know where this goes. There's potatoes and parsley and celery and meat and everything you could imagine. Somebody even has a good sense to find that keg of beer that they were hiding. And it turns into a keg. Now, at the elders are about to take off, and the elders of the village come up to them and say, thanks so much for teaching us the secret of stone soup. And the soldiers look at these guys and say, it had nothing really to do with us. We just helped you realize the potential within your existing community. Now, here's the thing. Some people read that, often reinterpreted, often retold tale, as a tale of confidence scandal, as a tale of swindling. These soldiers showed up with nothing and left with a full belly of food. I think that's bullshit. I think these guys showed up and gave more to this village than they took away. What they gave was coordination, a sense of community and reinforcement, and that spark of creativity to actually build something from what seemed like next to nothing. It's unimportant that they receive compensation. That's not the point of the story, and that's kind of what we're here to talk about, is when there's that organizing body that can make possible the kind of sharing that can unlock the potential of stone soup. And what that really plays into is, let's axe the X, as we like to say. We're coming from thousands of years, and most recently a couple of decades. I think Wall Street 2 came out this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty excited for that movie. That is the decade of excess, right? Quintessentially the 80s. What has happened since then is we've realized that, in fact, there are multiple people around this sort of ecosystem of access where experiences are more valuable than goods, than stuff, that benefit. Whether you're the person looking to make money, renting stuff to other people, or letting other people borrow your stuff, or you're just in it to make new friends and connect. Or maybe you want to make smarter purchasing decisions and try stuff before you buy it, or you're the person who's selling stuff. Doesn't really matter. This notion of access is a critical sort of notion for where I think we're headed socially. And so moving from excess to access is sort of what we're talking about here. What's the basis for this? I would ask you this question. What makes you rich? Once upon a time, it was hoarding gold and riches. And I'm talking about before there were audio jacks that used gold, and gold had no purpose other than to adorn crowns and other kinds of jewelry. It was stuff. There's a great article in the Times about a month and a half ago that talked about how we are continuing to actually prioritize experiences over the goods that power those experiences. And so we're moving from this model, which is old, and prioritizing instead the things that make our lives truly rich, those memories, those smiles. When you're on your bed at 105, or the way technology is going at 205, and you've got the progeny of your progeny before you, you're not going to remember the products you used. You remember the things that you did. And so that's really what we're talking about here is we're not here to accumulate experiences. Sorry, that's what we are here. Riches. We're here to accumulate experiences. Now, you might ask me, because it sounds a little bit academic and maybe a little bit crunchy, what's in it for you? And what I would say to you is that, in point of fact, when the world is your oyster, when your goods are in the system, when you've contributed into a system of sharing and collaboration in this way, and human contact and new perspectives, you actually get more choice. There's more that you can do without necessarily spending or buying more. So you get, in the truest sense of the term, choice. Who's a Matrix fan here, by the way? Did I just really geek out? Is that? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I love the Matrix. So that's what's in it for you, is choice. Choice to do a new set of things. Choice to re-engage with old passions. Choice to find new kinds of things. And the beauty part of it is that if you let, whether it's Snapgoods or anybody else, if you let us organize the world in this way for you, if you show me yours, if you show me what's in your closet and on your shelves and available to the world, if it's made safe, and you're made safe, and you never go get your stuff back, I'll show you what's behind hers. I got to pause here for a second because that's powerful. What we've started to see is that people are actually discovering new things, new interests, new passions, because there's something new that's possible. It's easy. You don't have to necessarily find out what it is you're doing this weekend. You can actually let somebody else maybe give you some ideas. This is all possible. And so maybe better than me saying it is this guy.
I am. It's an oyster with 2 tickets to that thing you love. Look again.
It's diamonds. Or mountain biking for the weekend. Or taking your girl to that perfect spot, proposing. Anything is possible. Not when you use Old Spice, but in fact, when we make the resources that collectively are sitting around in our closets, garages, and spaces available to the rest of us in a safe, easy, and affordable way. Now here's the question. Why hasn't this worked before? Why is this working now? In a nutshell, there are 25 times as many people today on this earth as there were 1,000 years ago. 25. There are less than 1/25 as many resources per capita. And that was a quick math problem, but basically what I'm saying is we're consuming more, ever faster, with way more people on the earth. And so we've been forced to confront this notion of the resources that we once thought were limitless are not. The things that we create are going in the landfill, and the landfill is filling up. So by giving ourselves the opportunity to be a little bit creative about how we access our experiences and channel our energy and integrate new passions and projects into our lives, we're actually really doing ourselves a favor because the technology finally exists to make those things possible in a scalable and attainable kind of way. The folks who got something, could you please just come up real quick to the stage? Sorry to put you on blast. I think we got 4 folks, might be 1 more. Sorry to do that too. Okay. So, I made assistance of some people here, by the way. And 2 of them are plants, 2 of them are not. So I apologize if you're not stage friendly. But I guess the question to ask here is, it sounds maybe like I'm being overly academic about this. And you might ask me whether or not this is really working. And the truth is that at Snapgoods and our sort of passion, what we've been doing is building this access economy. We've been building the systems and infrastructure and hooks that enable these kinds of transactions to be real, and it's actually working. And while what we initially focused on was keeping you safe, keeping your stuff safe, building integrated depositing systems and all kinds of insurance type, you know what actually happened? People discovered the fun and connected. People actually got excited about doing stuff, about experiencing stuff, about getting new perspectives from the people they touched. Human contact breeds compassion. New perspectives breed creativity. And so, for me, what started off as literally, there's a reason why that motorcycle is in the back. It wasn't just a shameless plug. This started off a year ago for me as a journey where I wanted to take a staycation in New York on Labor Day, and I'm actually born and raised from New York, so I know that Labor Day it's like ghost town, which is actually the best time to experience New York if you want to be in New York. And I wanted to take a little staycation on a motorcycle with my girlfriend. And it was an awesome plan, except do you know what I was missing? Motorcycle, which is kind of a big deal. And I was able to figure out, well, I'm not going to buy one just for a weekend. I'm going to see if I can find one from a stranger, from somebody who would give me one, because I didn't have a buddy that had one. And I went on Craigslist, and it was a huge pain in the ass. I got somebody to borrow one, to give me one rather. I went to the bank and took out $2,000 cash to give him a deposit. I gave him a photocopy of my ID. I got one of his, the license, the registration. And the funniest part about it was still something that could have been totally scamable. I mean, he could have taken me, he could have beat me up, or called me a cynic. But that didn't happen. That looked like I was going to sing a song or something. Okay. So what instead happened was, it went off without a hitch, but it was a huge, huge pain in the ass. And we decided that we could do better. That we could actually make these kinds of transactions super easy for you guys. And so we did. And so we know what you guys have. I know that we've got lemon, that we've got cups, that we've got vermouth, and that we've got gin. So what do we really have? Anybody. Martini. And that's the point here, is that there's a party that's waiting to happen. If you can facilitate and make it easy and make it safe, you guys can actually help one another experience more, do more, connect more, and that's kind of cool. So what's yours is ours really just means you don't even know what's behind that next corner. If collaboration is possible, if exciting your senses and creativity is possible, then we can make that happen for you, and you should make that happen for each other. I'm Ron J. We're Snap Goods, and I'm going to make some martinis. Thank you. Who's coming up next? Are we done? Is it party time?
Party time.
All right, well, I'm making martinis. Turn the music on. Let's get it cracking.